Michelle Williams. I am representative of a program in Georgia called U.S. Law Shield. We're nationwide. We're the largest membership program in the United States, of upwards of 1 million members. What's important to know is that we partner with program as Georgia Carry. Georgia Carry's up at the state capitol lobbying for your gun rights to protect and improve our Second Amendment rights. And U.S. Law Shield is there to defend legally anything that pertains to self-defense, such as all criminal and all civil. So we cover 100%, all civil and all criminal. We don't limit you to what type of weapons you can use, and we cover all weapons of opportunity. Whether you have a weapons carry license, a gun, whether the only thing you have in your hand at that time is a cast iron skillet, whether you're using your car. Too many instances, have occurred where people are in the situation where they have to decide to defend themselves, and all they have is what they can get their hands on. Not all of us have a gun, right? So what's important to note is that it's 100% all coverage. There's no caps and no limits. We do not, so we cover, I'm trying to think of what else I need to say. When we talk about representation, for instance, right now, Alec Baldwin's in the news. We don't all have Alec Baldwin's money, do we? So, but we all deserve the same quality of defense. And that's what you see, that's where the discrepancy is. Do we have a legal system or a justice system? We have a legal system, unfortunately. And I can tell you that anytime you put your hands on someone, I can promise you that you're going to end up in the legal system to some degree. Anytime you put your hands on someone, you're breaking the law. It's not for a police officer to determine your level of immunity, and that's why we're here. It was established in Texas. We have attorneys all over the United States, not just in Georgia. We talk about reciprocity. We protect you if you're traveling, while you're traveling. All weapons of opportunity, as I said earlier. We cover minor children. If they're bullied in school, because inevitably if a child gets in trouble, they're going to come to who? Mom and dad, right? We cover hunters when they're hunting and fishing. If you ever had a gun lost or stolen, and it's used in the commission of a crime, then we cover that as well. So there really isn't anything that U.S. Law Shield doesn't cover. And I think that's probably why we have so many members and it's growing. We put our money where our mouth is. We put our money into the program itself. All of our attorneys are contracted to Law Shield. You retain that attorney-client privilege with them. The members, though, are not contracted, and that's why. And it's important to know that, because if at any time you decide that you want to retain someone else, then you have the right to do that. That's your right. I spent 24 years as a court administrator. I have 10 years. I served in the Air Force. I can tell you that in the legal profession, 89% of the time, someone's going to take a plea. When you're going through a situation, there was a study that came out in the 80s that said when you're going through a life-changing incident, you go through these psychological changes where we're not thinking clearly. I mean, God, have you ever lost a kid in the mall, in the store? You forget what their name is. You forget what they're wearing. I mean, hell, you picked out their clothes earlier that morning, but you cannot remember anything about them. So what makes you think in that crucial moment when you have to make the decision whether or not to take a position of self-defense, that you're going to be able to think clearly enough to give the police accurate details? What happens to a police officer when they're in a life-changing incident? They get put on administrative leave. They get 3 sleep cycles to make one report, and we get hauled down for questioning. If it's 2:00 in the morning, I can tell you it's not questioning, it's interrogation. And we get one statement. Do we have the right to remain silent? Absolutely. This sort of goes over our head. We're so used to hearing it that we don't really fully process what that means. We have the right to remain silent. We just don't have the ability. Because when you are in a situation, you're absolutely sure, hey, this is a stand your ground state. You know, I haven't done anything wrong. Let me tell you what happened. And that is the absolute worst thing you could do in that moment. Keep your mouth shut. You have the right to remain silent. You just don't have the ability. So we advise keep your mouth shut during 911 calls and to call your attorney. If you want to create a witness, if you want to tell anybody about what happened, then you're going to tell your attorney, right? We're not going to create witnesses where there don't need to be any. The only person that needs to know what happened is your attorney. If there's somebody else in the house, you need to tell them to leave. So call Matt. Our head program attorney is in Marietta. He lives in Kennesaw, so he's very accessible. You know, if you have a legal question, Law Shield will answer it. If for some reason you're traveling out of state and you want to know how to transport that firearm across state lines, which states you have reciprocity, then you can contact Law Shield. And if you want to transport the firearm by car, then they'll tell you, an attorney from every state will contact you and let you know how to do that. Every state has a law that houses all of their self-defense and gun laws. Within 2 years, this book has doubled in size. 2 years. Look how large it is. So this is what's called Armed and Educated. It was written by our head program attorney, Matthew Kilgo, who works closely with Georgia Carry. So Georgia Carry and, you know, Law Shield, they partner to try to educate and defend. Our members get a book. This is Cliff Notes to Georgia Gun Law. In the back is the reciprocity map. It gives you an idea of where you can and can't carry and what recognizes your weapons carry license. All of our members receive a card. There's only 2 numbers on the back. One goes to Houston, where our main office is, and the other one goes directly to Matt's cell phone. There's never a time when you're in a situation where you will not be able to get in touch with him. Okay, it rings 24 hours a day. And if you accidentally butt dial him, which a lot of people do, then you know, he'll answer. And if you hang up, then he's going to call you back and say, hey, is everything all right? If for some reason he happens to be in court, it'll ring until another attorney answers the phone. So rest assured that when your back is against the wall and you have to make that decision, but you never have to think, what is going to happen to me if I'm wrong, right? When you're traveling, turn on your multi-state. You have the option. That way, if something happens to you when you're going to, you know, Illinois, I don't know why you want to go to Illinois, but if you do, it's the murder capital of the world. If you do go there, then you know that you're protected. You have an attorney in that state. You'll have an attorney in the state in which the incident occurred, right? California, there's only 6 guns that are legal in the state of California. New Jersey has a 10-round magazine capacity. Don't even bring a gun to New York. If you happen to have a layover in New York and you're flying through, but you happen to have a layover for some reason, and they give you your luggage and it has a firearm in it, it's in your best interest to tell them to put that luggage on the next plane. I think that, you know, for all of you viewers, although we don't have a class requirement in the state of Georgia, it's always in your best interest to be educated and trained. And, you know, M3 is a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. So it's M3 Armory. Please do yourself a favor and sign up, come to a class, and then go into the range. It's no different than utilizing the tools that we did when we were kids, when we were trying to use a spoon. You know, we had it up our nose. So we promise we won't stick the gun up your nose, but, you know, you still need to go ahead and try to get trained. I appreciate your time.